Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the Am I Wrong subreddit from OC Original, and it says, am I wrong for accusing girlfriend of cheating on me? Found pregnancy test. So, my girlfriend and I have been together for just under a year. We don't live together and both work full time, and we're exclusive, as far as I'm aware. About 3 months ago, I noticed my girlfriend spending a lot of time on the phone with her friend, Jessie. She says that Jessie is a good friend and that's it. However, she often spends any time she can on the phone with him, even when her and I are out. The conversations don't lead me to think anything, but about 1.5 months ago, my girlfriend says she's going to visit Jessie, who lives 2 states over. I can't go because I have to work. Of course, I tell her that I'm not comfortable with her visiting a male friend out of state, but she says that Jessie is just a friend. She'll be staying at his place, but Jessie is also a single father of 2 young boys, so my girlfriend assures me nothing will happen. Despite me voicing my opinion, my girlfriend takes the trip and shares a location to put my mind at ease. She returns a week later and we move on with life. However, about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend asks me to go to our local Target to pick up an online order she had placed. She tells me she ordered shampoo and a few hygiene items. I agree and go to pick up her order. When I get to the customer service counter and give them her name, they bring out a bag with a pregnancy test in it. Shocked and confused, I tell them, is this what she ordered? I check the name and phone number attached to the bag and find it matches my girlfriend's number, so it couldn't have been another girl with the same name. They bring out the bag with the items she told me to get, and I leave without asking more questions about the pregnancy test. Shocked and confused by this, because there was no real way that I could have potentially impregnated her. We used protection. I later ask her why there was a pregnancy test at Target in her name. At first she says she has no idea, and she did not order a pregnancy test. I ask her to show me her Target apps to prove it, and she says that it was probably her sister, since her sister uses her Target account to order things sometimes. She also claims that women sometimes use pregnancy tests to regulate their PMS or for other things other than to determine if they are pregnant. I don't know shit about how this works, but she assures me that she's not pregnant and that the test wasn't a sign of her cheating when she was on the trip. The other night we go out to dinner and she makes it a point to prove that she isn't pregnant by ordering a few cocktails. Am I wrong for accusing my girlfriend for cheating on me while she was away? I'm so paranoid, but also don't have real proof that she did. Edit. Needed to clarify the part about the pregnancy test. The pregnancy test was part of a separate online order. She asked me to pick up her online order at Target, which she said consisted of shampoo, deodorant and some lotion. When I went to the counter and told them her name, they brought out the bag with a pregnancy test. I said this isn't what she told me was her order, so they checked again and brought out the second bag with the right stuff as previously mentioned. After checking the info off both bags, I confirmed that both orders were under a name/account, so I believe she secretly planned an online order for a pregnancy test and planned to get that later while asking me to get a shampoo. The pregnancy test was not in the same bag as the stuff she asked me to get. Mini update, I never saw the pregnancy test after that, so I don't know if that truly was an order she made by mistake or if her sister used her Target account to order that got herself. However, I did bring up the fact that her sister lives about 20 minutes from her and has a Target much closer to her, so why would she place an order for a pregnancy test and have the pickup location further from her house? Even if her local Target was all out, I find it hard to believe that her sister would order a pregnancy test under her account and pick it up near her house. Gino Flower says sure, the pregnancy test could have been placed in her order by error, but then she'd have just showed you the app to prove that she didn't order it and wouldn't have blamed her sister. She also wouldn't have lied about women using pregnancy tests to regulate PMS. This is absolutely not the truth, and you should be insulted by this lie. The only thing pregnancy tests are used for is to determine if women are pregnant. That's it. She's changed the story like 5 times, and you want to believe her so much that you're starting to believe her. Her having cocktails proves nothing except that pregnancy test was negative. She went to stay with Jessie despite your reservations about it, lied about the pregnancy test, and is making you think you are paranoid for thinking she cheated. Without protection. Probably. Oh Yes Please says women use birth control to regulate periods, not pregnancy tests. No Coffee says the pregnancy test isn't a sign of her cheating, but her reasoning is. Pregnancy tests don't regulate anything. Her changing stories and excuses are all you need to hear to know she is hiding something from you. Yeah, eyebrows were certainly raised all the way through that post. It was, I think we got to the third paragraph and you were saying you was concerned about what was going on and she's going to be staying at his place. And she said, oh, nothing happened. And she put on her location to put your mind at ease. What the fuck's that going to prove? That they're in the same house? She's saying she's staying there. It's not like it's going to pinpoint to the bed. But OP comes in with her first update and says, thank you all for those that commented on my post yesterday concerning my girlfriend and my belief that she cheated on me. And then gave a TLDR and says, so as an update, I realized that although my girlfriend and I have protected sex, the chances of me getting her pregnant is possible. However, I strongly believe that despite our intimacy, I couldn't have possibly impregnated my girlfriend. Not to be disgusting and personal, but I never finish inside of her because I want to reduce our chances of having kids until we're both ready. That's why when I saw the pregnancy test, I immediately thought she cheated on me. Anyway, I went into panic last night after hearing all the comments and freaked out, so I went to her apartment while she was at work. She gave me a key, and I found her iPad. I tried using her birthday as the password, and to my amazement, it worked. I immediately go through her messages and find evidence that she in fact had sex with her friend Jessie. I'm honestly so devastated by this, and I've been such a nervous wreck since last night. I haven't ate and I've barely slept. Yes, I know what I did. Secretly going through her iPad and messages was wrong, but I had to know if she was cheating on me, and if that pregnancy test she secretly ordered was because Jessie may have knocked her up. Now I'm waiting to confront her, but I honestly don't know how. How do I tell my girlfriend that I know she cheated? Am I wrong for going through her iPad and messages? Part of me feels wrong for this, but you have no idea how much it hurts to know that she did this. She was my first real girlfriend in a long time, and now I feel like an afterthought. Edit, as far as I know, she is not pregnant. She wanted to prove this by having a few cocktails when we went to dinner last week. There's no baby involved. Thank God. Commenter says, not wrong. The pregnancy test and her preposterous answers to your questions about it caused enough concern to do some digging. Just say to her, I know, leave and block. So it was a few days after update, OP come in with another one and said, so last night I told my girlfriend that I needed to talk to her. At first she kept saying she was busy, but I insisted on seeing her in person. So she finally said to go to her place around 8 PM. I go over and I reiterated how ever since she got back from her trip, things have felt weird. She claims I'm the one who's making things weird by believing that she cheated on me. She continues to claim that the pregnancy test was not hers and that her friend Jessie was just a friend and they just hung out. I then proceeded to tell her how I know she cheated because I saw the thread in her messages. She said, you came here without me knowing and went through my personal messages. That's so messed up and creepy, to be honest. We got into a slight argument as I told her that my suspicions were correct and she was trying to deflect the conversation. I asked her to give me her phone and I show her all the messages I saw, which were very clear and explicit. Of course, she refuses and says, we're not married, we don't live together, you don't own or control me. Well, I agree with her on that part. I decided to end things quickly and simply put a copy of the keys on a coffee table and tell her, you cheated, plain and simple, goodbye and good luck. I walk out and she makes no attempt to stop me. Later, she tries to text me and say she's sorry for what she did. At first, she claimed that Jessie was an old boyfriend that she never told me about, and they had dated years ago before she met me, and that he moved away several years ago. She claims that the messages I saw were old conversations they had, but I quickly told her that was obviously not true. She swears that she didn't mean to cheat and that Jessie must have gotten her drunk and it led to sex. She assures me that she is not pregnant with anyone's baby. I told her, that's good, because I don't want anything else tying me to you. I wished her good luck again, and I haven't heard from her since. Personally, I'm relieved, but I'm also upset and devastated by all of this. I spoke with my friend Eric, who told me that he had an ex that cheated on him too, but she later tried to contact him years later when the dude she cheated on him with turned out to be a bum. Hoping I can move forward from this. Thank you all for your input. Am I wrong for anything I did or the way I acted in this? Commenter says, quick and clean. Good job. No need to hash it all out or look for an apology. Just end it because you cheated. Done. Bloody gee whiz with a cherry on top. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Ooh-wee. And let's move on to another story. Now, this next story, it comes from Dear Ferret 9268 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. And it says, would I be the arsehole if I don't give my late boyfriend's house to his parents? My boyfriend, 30 male, rest in peace, and I, 33 male, were together for 15 years. I was his senior in high school, and we stayed together until a few months ago when he passed away due to bone cancer. I live in a traditional country where same-sex marriage, it says, is no legal, but it is not a big issue socially. His parents kicked him out when he came out as gay at 17. My family took him in, helped him to finish high school, and was supportive the most they could. I work in HR and he worked in IT. Since he started to work, he made good money. He saved enough to purchase a house 10 years ago. He was paying the mortgage all by himself. 4 years ago, he got the diagnosis. He reduced his working hours to take care of his health, and I stepped in to pay the mortgage. It was a hard battle, but cancer took him back in March. After he passed away, his family appeared in the picture, saying how they regretted not being in his son's life and stuff. Time went by, and a month ago, they reached out to me asking me when they can expect I could give them the keys of the house. Since same-sex marriage is not legal, they could claim the house as their family. I told them that the house was in my name. I bought it from him a year into the cancer, so it was legally mine, and I'd been paying the mortgage way before it. They got upset and said I was being unreasonable, that it should be legally theirs, that my boyfriend would have wanted to give them the house, which is in fact true. My boyfriend talked a lot about how he would give everything to them if that would fix the relationship between them. Actually, he bought the house as a way to bring them to live with him so they would no longer rent. He also tried to make amends with them all this time, unsuccessfully. I told them that I would give them the house for the price I bought it from my boyfriend, and they would have to pay me back these 4 years of mortgage, plus take the debt over in their name. They said they didn't have the money, and it was so selfish of me to tell them that, knowing what my boyfriend would have wanted. They proposed to just change the debt onto their name and give me no money in return. I declined. They got mad at the discussion and got heated to the point they told me that they would bring me to court, accusing me of scamming my boyfriend to have the house. They can't. They've been calling and texting non-stop for the past month, telling me I would be an arsehole to my boyfriend if I didn't give them the house. I know they can't pay me back all the money I put in the house, but I'm conflicted right now. Some friends told me that I should give them the house and move on with my life, but it just doesn't feel right to me. I'm leaning more onto not giving them the house, but I know my boyfriend would jump the bed and give it to them. Right now their words feel empty and as if they just want to take advantage of the situation. I don't need the house, to be honest, but I don't want to give it to them either. We never talked with my boyfriend about what I should do with the house after his death, so would I be the arsehole if I don't give them the house? OP has an ETA saying thank you for all of your kind words. I cried a lot with most of the comments. Sorry if I can't keep the pace and reply to everyone. Just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is blown up in ways I didn't even think about. Thank you for your kind words, just to add some info that looks like is needed for some of you. I live in a country in Central America. For central reasons we'll not give the name. Here is not illegal being LGBTQ+, but same-sex marriage is just not legal, nothing more. We didn't live in the house, we lived at my apartment. That's why I don't need the house, but I just don't feel right giving it to his parents. Also, almost all of his money went to pay medical bills. He didn't want me to put my money on it, which obviously I would have, and buying the house was the best idea we came out with to satisfy the both of us. The house is not a big one, and is also in the suburbs. It is not worth the same as in other countries, around USD 90k or a little more. He was such a kind heart. So I'm pretty sure even if it was a lie, he would have given them the house the moment they acknowledged him as gay and tell him they loved him. That's the reason why I'm having a hard time considering this. I can't answer all your comments, but I'm trying to read you all. Thank you for your support. That It's just incredibly heartbreaking. The thought of him chasing that relationship all these years, and he would have given up his house just to try and win them back into his life, is just, it is heartbreaking. There's no other way of putting it, really. And they simply didn't deserve his love. And I believe all we're seeing in this story is that classic vulture behavior. All they're after is the property. That's it. They haven't suddenly changed their ways. His parents had years and years to make amends, but have only turned up when there's something to gain. Come on now. And you simply just need to protect yourself in this situation and have nothing more to do with these people. It sounds like your boyfriend was incredibly kind-hearted, but also he was in denial about who his parents actually are. So just absolutely do not give them a thing. Things with String says, and quotes, "My boyfriend talked a lot about how he'd give everything to them if that would fix the relationship between them. Ben says not the arsehole. He would have given them the house in his life because he missed them that much. They refused to have anything to do with him, even when he was dying. If you give them the house now, then they benefit from him even though they rejected him when alive. You keep the house because you're the one who loved your boyfriend. You owe his terrible family, who kicked him out at 17, nothing." Opie says that's reasonable, thank you. Wife of Bath says, "Not the arsehole. You don't find it at all suspicious that they didn't come around until after he died. I don't believe they regret anything. They just want his assets. I also don't believe your boyfriend would have wanted you to give them the house. While he was alive, he would have done that to mend the relationship, but now there is no opportunity to mend the relationship. You really think he'd want you to move out and give them the house? He loved you too, and I don't think you're thinking about that at all. You really should block their numbers and move on with your life." Opie says, "Actually, we always joked about how he would have a hard time if his parents asked him to break up with me in order to win their love back. He really was desperate for their love, and I know he would be conflicted too. I did find it suspicious why they appeared until after his death. That's why I don't find their words honest and why it's keeping me from giving them the house. I don't need it, thankfully. I also have an apartment that I bought with my own money, but the house means a lot for us to give it to them." Sunbeam says, "Don't give it to them. They want to benefit from a son they disowned and refused to have a relationship with until after he was dead. Sell the house, keep the money, move on with your life. You would want that." Ms. says, "My suggestion is this. You're in mourning now, and that will take some time to ease. Give yourself time. Now is not the time to make big decisions. Take a year or maybe two, then revisit the situation. You owe these people nothing, as they are the ones who shunned him and you as well. Do not let them bully you into a decision you may later regret. Only make this decision when your heart is clear. Sending you hugs." And it was 8 months after that post, Opie came in with the update and says, "First of all, thanks to all the people who replied and gave me some support. I really appreciate that. Back when I posted the story, I was in a really bad place and everything was convoluted. I can't tell you how hard it was for me to get to a decision. A lot of people told me to take some time to think about it. But I really want to thank Ms., which was the last commenter, when I was logging out from Reddit back in the day. I saw the response and it lived rent-free in my head for almost a week. That helped me decide to take my time before making any decision regarding the house. So I decided to wait until I felt I was able to think clearly. It took me a few months. It was hard. His parents kept bothering me with calls and emails about the house. They even hired a lawyer to talk to me about it. But my own lawyer told them all to fuck off. They hadn't any leg to stand on if it would have gone to a judge. Back in January, I finally felt able to make any decision. I told him that I was going to sell them the house for the original price my boyfriend bought it. I would still lose some money, but it was the best course of action for me. And that was my last offer. They refused it, saying that I should be a better person and let them get the house for less. They didn't even dare to call me his boyfriend, just a person. So I decided to put the house on the market. Back in February, they reached out to me again, asking if my proposal was still on the table. I would have loved to tell them no, but I knew my boyfriend wanted them to live there. So I told them yes, but they had to decide within a week. It wasn't necessary. They accepted right away. So I let my lawyer handle the selling. I didn't want to see them no more. I got surprised when my lawyer handed me a photo book of him as a kid and preteen. Looks like it was their way of trying to acknowledge their son's life. It's the only thing for what I'm grateful for to them. A few weeks ago was my boyfriend's 1-year memorial. They didn't show up, so I could move on with my life without them bothering me no more. Thanks again for all the comments and DMs. You guys are awesome. Leviosa Patronus says, I'm glad you're at peace with your decision and can move on. Best of luck to you. Commenter says, making tough choices builds character and real estate portfolios. Wishing you all the best. Micro says, I mean, if you're happy, cool, but it sounds like your boyfriend's parents screwed you out of a house at your loss. And there was many comments below this one just saying, you know, they would never have done that. They would never have given the house or even sold the house, etc., etc. Other people talking about maybe possibly this was survivor's guilt. And other comments just happy that OP is now able to move on with their life without any of those people in it. But what do you guys make of this situation? I gotta be honest, I felt a bit flat at the ending for me as well. But you know, it's OP's life, and if OP feels comfortable with that decision, then you know, it's their decision. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.